Hello, James Ujames, Ujames 1978. I am responding to your video, Men's Rights Activists versus Anti-feminists. I have been watching your videos on YouTube for a few months now, and I've only recently created an account, but I enjoyed your videos, and I'm glad that you are fighting for social justice. Your video I am responding to tries to explain that men's rights activism is still in its early stages, and there is a clear distinction between MRAs and anti-feminists. The problem is, this is a false dichotomy. It is possible to be an anti-feminist while proposing equal rights for men. I disagree with classifying Paul Elam and Rockin' Mr. E as strict anti-feminists. I have watched some videos of theirs, and they do talk about legitimate men's rights issues, but I'm not to judge their whole persona, since I only seen a fraction of their work. Furthermore, Paul Elam has spoken out against patriarchy multiple times in his videos, and when I listen to Mr. E criticize feminism, it is usually valid. Even though I can hear some anti-status bias, that is due to their own philosophy, not a backlash against feminism. Furthermore, I looked at the comment by I'm Scared of Coffee, and while I agree he was overreacting, he was taking your criticism as an attack on Mr. E, not on the men's rights movement, and not even on libertarianism. And even if he was, he is only one example. He also states that the goals of sex-positive feminism are the polar opposites of second-wave or radical feminists, which is only true in areas like sex workers' rights, pornography, and whether women should conform to go higher in life. Mr. E and Yes I Am James pointed out that they do share similar goals and use similar rhetoric in the videos linked down in the underbar. I agree that there are feminist ideas worth pursuing. We must support a woman's right to choose whether to carry a fetus to term. We must address how only 17% of Congress is women and 7% of Republicans in Congress are women, and address issues of violence and sexual harassment, which men also face. However, social programs such as women's-only scholarships and women's-only help centers are giving women an unfair advantage, which feminists almost always refuse to back down or expand to include men. Feminists also love to talk about the pay gap, which I concede is a myth. Women are paid less because they are choosing to work less, or not go after higher paying jobs, or they do not communicate well enough and negotiate for higher wages with their employers. While this is due to social issues, it is not legal discrimination. It should require the forcing of employers to promote or raise the wages of women who otherwise wouldn't have the benefits, since this does not solve the problem. Women who are in higher positions often do not have a significant lower wage than their male counterparts, and as we keep stratifying, the wage gap is pretty much non-existent. Furthermore, since a higher percentage of women are going to college and getting degrees, the younger generation of women are receiving higher pays than men. Here I'm going to talk about some recent experience I had with some feminists on Facebook. While I realize it isn't representative of all feminist groups, it is still worth considering. The feminist group I joined first basically claimed that there were no men's rights issues, joked about circumcision, and said that transsexuals did not exist. It was a fairly popular group with over 5,000 members, and the administrator did not say anything about the misandry or transphobia. She was on the radical feminist side. Needless to say, I was blocked the next day. There was another group created to escape the radical feminists of the previous group I was talking about, and create a group for moderate feminists. While they were more progressive on transsexual issues, they downplayed the men's rights issues and blamed whatever they could on the patriarchy. When discussing one men's rights issues, I asked one of the members, who was also an administrator, why men shouldn't be allowed to sit next to children in airplanes. His response was this: "Considering men are more likely to be rapists or kidnappers, that isn't discrimination, it is just smart. I fail to see, unless you are a kidnapper, why any man cares if he sits next to unaccompanied children." Discrimination in an airplane is hardly the worst manifestation of misandry, but this person completely missed the point and shows that moderate feminists do agree with discrimination where it's not hindering women, and ironically and unwittingly showed the hidden discrimination of this law. I think the biggest problem with feminism to men's rights activists is that feminists are completely unwilling to work with MRAs. This is understandable because MRAs tend to be hostile towards feminists for the reasons I've given above, and several which I haven't given. However, for feminists to show the same intolerance and hostility is just hypocritical. When talking to one of the administrators on the new Facebook group, she asked for a video by a men's rights proponent that didn't attack feminism, so I showed her your video I'm responding to. She told me your video was shitty babble. And for the record, I'm blocked from that group too. I recently joined a men's rights activist group on Facebook, and they are much more civil than the feminist group. While there were some comments that could be considered misogynistic, nobody was trying to encourage or defend legal discrimination of women at all. One person even suggested that we try to get the support of feminists, and that I was treated with courtesy even though many disagreed. I understand that there are many feminists that are concerned about men's rights, but I'm not sure what are they doing for it. I never heard the feminists call for the expansion of social programs and scholarships to include men, or create identical programs for men. One feminist, who calls himself Man Boobs, even claimed that MRAs have no business telling feminists to expand these programs, when their goal is gender equality. Overall, I agree that the resentment towards feminists in the MRA community is not a good thing, and it gives men's rights activists a bad name, and they shouldn't downplay women's rights issues like how most feminists I met downplay men's rights issues. However, being an anti-feminist does not make you less of a men's rights activist, as feminism does cause problems for men. While certain aspects of feminism may not be misandric or support female supremacy, the ones that do deserve fierce criticism. Thank you for watching.